Well, guys, as normal with these older air-cooled engines, as soon as everything seems to be going well, something happens, and it's no longer, Mr. Rufus is no longer running correctly. It has a slight, how do you say, when you're accelerating in any gear, it has a slight kind of surge going on. So, I did the typical thing. Checked all the valves, I checked the timing, changed the fuel filter, etc. And everything was fine. So I was kind of at a loss, a little discouraged as normal. And then I came across a YouTube video, and the fellow on the YouTube video was talking about changing these condensers. And if these condensers start to go bad, you get that surging feeling when you're trying to accelerate. So what we're going to do today is just pop this guy out and change it. There's a whole story behind why I still have points in condensers. So when I started having this problem, I thought to myself, I know I have somewhere around here some condenser and some points. And what do you know? Typical old man trick, hiding stuff everywhere. I got this stuff years and years and years ago, and it's just been sitting in the package. So we're just going to take the condenser out and use that. Figure, why not? Let's give it a shot. Okay, so those of you who are real astute will notice that I marked where each cylinder fires on this distributor cap, and you'll see 3 here, 4 is here, 1 is here, and 2 is there. Most of the time your number 1 cylinder is somewhere in this area. However, when we were rebuilding this motor, this engine, we had an old man moment, and we dropped that drive gear in 180 degrees out. So when I first put everything back together and was trying to start this thing up for the first time, it just wouldn't run. And of course, I thought about it for a long time, and I did some stuff, and I read somewhere online someone had the same symptom. So I took this distributor, I spun the number 1 cylinder back to this spot around here, about 180 degrees out of normal, and sure enough, it started right up. So don't do that. Don't be me, and don't drop that drive gear in 180 degrees out. I understand there's a tool that you can buy to pull that drive gear out without disassembling your whole block, but I don't have unlimited funds. So it is what it is. It runs great the way it is, and so I haven't messed with it. So right now, like I said, I'm getting that little hesitation, little kind of almost like it's missing when it's running in any gear. So I thought maybe it was a clutch problem or maybe slippage from the clutch, but reading or listening to a YouTube video when the fellow was talking about changing out the condenser when your car starts feeling like it's doing something like that. So we're going to try that. Now normally when you change your condenser, you change your points also. And that's always good practice. However, I also just purchased, it's in the mail, a whole new distributor that has the electronic ignition modules installed, so I'm not going to be using these anymore. So I'm going to use the NOS stuff that I had hanging around in my garage, and I'm just going to change the condenser and see if that clears up the problem. If that clears up the problem, great. If not, then we got real problems. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, fellow old men, I'm standing here at the workbench. I got my new old stock Volkswagen tune-up kit, which I got about, I'm gonna say 10 years ago from a buddy of mine's dad when he moved out. This guy was Mr. Volkswagen, so shout out to Rafa. But he gave me all his old stuff, his own little parts. So to try to give Rufus his little pet back, we're going to be opening this guy up. So let's just pop it open and see what it is. Look at this, back in the day it was $4.29. So let's just open her up. We'll just see what we got going on here. See if it's so old that it just disintegrates in my hands. What do we got here? Get rid of this old plastic. All right, so you got your points, which, as I explained earlier, oops, old man moment. I'm not going to be messing with the points this time, but I will keep this in my little flyaway kit, as we call it in the airline business, in case something does break down. It's good to have a set of points and a condenser, even if you're running the electronic ignition, because if that thing shorts out or fries itself, and you can install these points and adjust them even marginally close to where they have to be, you get yourself home. So in this little video, we're just going to take this guy and pop it in, and hopefully that solves our problems. I'm kind of glad I had this old school kind of kit, because from what I understand, the newer condensers are all kind of junk. So this being an old one, maybe it'll last, even though, like I said earlier, I am going to be switching over to a new distributor that has a completely electronic ignition already installed. So I'm just going to pop that sucker in, because I'm tired of dealing with this. I had a Baja Bug, which I drove around the Bay Area here for probably 12, 13 years. And I had the CompuFire ignition in that, and that thing ran and ran and ran. I never had any problems with it. I swear that that thing kept that bug running. I wish I'd kept that bug, but again, old man issues. I got tired of having no cruise control and no AC and no heat going back and forth to work here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So okay, let's get this sucker installed. All right, so the first thing you want to do, again, I come from an airline maintenance background, so we always take away power. So I disconnected the battery. Nothing is going to happen to you, but it's a good safe practice. So first thing you want to do is take the cap off. So let's get this rear guy off, pop this guy off, and let's move this up and out of the way. There we go. Okay, so changing these condensers is pretty straightforward. There's just this slotted screw that holds a clamp, which holds the connector on here. Now this one, a little different. This is the newer, or I should say the older model, with this one style of connector. The one I have on here is a little different in that you can disconnect the coil from this little terminal on the condenser. So in this style, we're going to be plugging that in there for the points, and then this wire is already built in. It'll just go up to the negative side of our coil. So that being said, I don't really need this wire off the coil. Let me show you guys the coil. There's the coil. Anyway, All right, back to work. So let's take this connector off of the on the inside. All right, just pop that sucker up. All right, that goes to your points. And let's take the clamp off. That holds the condenser in there. Now, here's something you learn from experience. These things fall a lot, and then they fall in a spot where it's hard to find. So when you're taking it off, just be sure to be careful. So there is the unit that I'm hoping has failed. I don't know where I got this. Like I said, it was in a bin of parts. So I don't know how old it is. I don't know where it came from. I don't know the manufacturer, but it's been running for probably, let's say, 2 years now with these points in this condenser. So it's probably high time to change the thing anyway. So let's get this guy placed on here, like so. This is a tiny screw. So let's just try to get it started here. All right, before I tighten it too much, let me see if I got enough room for this guy to go in this square hole here. Looks like it. Okay, so problem I've run into is that this rubber, this part is so old that this rubber is hard. So normally you can squeeze it into this hole right up until you get to this lip, and it's pretty pliable. But this part is so old that I've been having trouble doing it. So, but I got it in there about 89.2% of the way. So that should be just fine. I need to ensure that I can get the points connected up, which are kind of right here. Points connected up and not interfere with anything that's inside there. Let's just push that back down. There we go. And then I'm thinking about this condenser, position to put it in. And I think honestly it's supposed to be kind of on top of it a little bit to kind of help hold that thing in there. But anyway, the final step is going to be to swing you guys over here and reconnect the condenser wire to the negative side of the coil, like so. Okay, and then obviously we're just going to bring this back down and put that sucker back on there. Like so, and I will let you know if this helps Mr. Rufus out or not. If this is not the culprit, then I'm going to wait for that to distributor to come in with the electronic ignition. I'll put that back on. I'll install that, and then we shall see. You know, I'm not quite sure what else to do. If that's not it, then I'm saying that hesitation or that surge, that kind of surging feeling that I'm having, the only thing I got left is the clutch. Maybe the clutch has got, the rear main seal is leaking, and maybe the clutch has got some kind of oil on it or something. So I'll let you know if this works.